So we are live. We are live. I'm live here with Steve Grant, the latest avocado partner to have launched on Friday. So congratulations, Steve. I'm sure that was
Thank
quite
you
an
very much.
exciting weekend for you.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend, exciting, scary, all of
Yeah,
the above.
yeah, yeah.
But no,
Everything you would
I'm
expect.
absolutely loving it.
Had some people reach out to you that have obviously seen it happening. Had
Yeah, I've
a
had a
little
few
bit of
people
feedback.
reach out saying, you're a natural 10 out of 10. Keep going, get more out there. So yeah, it's been a positive response so far.
Awesome. Absolutely love that. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of getting to know you, nothing too intense, nothing crazy. But the first thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is what is the connection? What's the actual connection with Havant, Hayling Island? What's the connection with Steve in that area?
My family were born and bred in Havant. My dad and my mum both went to local schools. Um, I visited Havant every holiday that you have during the school terms because I was in boarding school. So I came to Havant for my holidays, and then back to boarding school. Um, I've got some really fond memories from watching the ships sail off to the Falklands, to watching them return, to down at the arcade down in Hayling,
Wow.
traveling off to Poole, off to Bird World, off to lots of different sightseeing in the south, really. So we did lots, but there was a lot of playing football in the park. You know, that was my thing at the holidays. So yeah, it holds
How's
very,
the
very
Havant
fond
football team
memories.
doing? Because they haven't
They're
got
doing
they've
really
got
well at
Havant
the
and
moment.
Waterlooville, haven't
I
they?
believe they're second at the moment. And I think they've got a game in hand, so they can close the gap at the top. But no, they're doing
Nice.
absolutely fantastically. And where I live, when I stand out in the garden on the Saturday, you can hear the crowd cheering. So it's like you're there, but you're not.
Love that. So you're local today, obviously born and bred, kind of as you mentioned as well, local connection there. It's exciting for the brand because you're the first agent down on the south coast for us.
I
Obviously,
am.
we've been in and around the home counties for the last couple of years, but to see someone down there on the south coast getting some nice pink avocado boards with your mobile number and name on is going to be exciting as well. So
They've
a
arrived.
couple of
So
questions. You what? Sorry.
I said they've arrived. So I'm just waiting to put the first one up.
Yeah, nice. I like it. So, we're going to sort of have some fun questions here. So, what's been the strangest moment in your, I think you said off camera, 25 years in the state agency? Thinking back over those 25 years, what's
Oh,
been the most awkward, strangest moment? And I'm here to catch you off guard massively, Steve. So, obviously, without
um,
going into too much detail for the client, if it is a really strange one, but what is the strangest moment you've had in agency?
I don't know if I should say it on air, if I'm honest with
You
you.
definitely should
Um,
if that's the thing that you're wondering.
I was doing a viewing during the day at what I perceived was going to be an empty property because both partners were at work. And I've walked into the master bedroom, the door was closed, I've opened it, and there were two people in bed. I'll leave you to use your
Sleeping?
imagination as to what was happening.
Okay.
I was mortified. I ushered the people out. I sort of made my haste, got out, went back to the office, left it an hour, and then being the person I am, I phoned the wife first and I said, "Look, I just want to apologize. I'm so sorry." And she was like, "Well, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "The situation that just happened." And she went, "No, what's happened?" It wasn't her in the bed. Um,
Oh,
yeah, it was a very, very awkward conversation. Um, but a conversation that unfortunately, me being me, will always apologise if I've overstepped the mark or I've done something that a client isn't happy with and do my utmost to rectify it. We did sell the house. They did go their separate ways. Um, but yeah, it was a little awkward to say the
that,
least.
that that's a cracker. That isn't a cracker. It's obviously a shame that it's happened. That's when you see a property that's going from being sold with an onward chain to being sold with no chain pretty much straight away. Yeah.
Yes.
We've got a couple of people that are jumping on. So, hello, Clint. Thanks for joining us. He's saying congratulations
Thank you very
and
much.
welcome to the team, which is awesome to see. We've got Matthew, obviously one of the Avocado agents, saying welcome to the family as well. So, if you've got a question, as it kind of says on the ticker that's revolving down there, if you've got a question for Steve, we'll take anything. It's lunchtime. There are no rules around the questions. Just don't swear on a live chat. That's a bit awkward. But yeah, fire your questions in. So, memorable client and why? What's the most memorable client that you've had? You don't have to name the person, but what are the reasons? I think for us in agency, it's about the people, isn't it? And I think back to a couple of clients that I've had over the years that just will always be ingrained as a memorable client for a variety of different reasons. But what would be your most memorable client and why?
I was working in Cosham, and I was invited out to value a house. I sat on the couch and said, look, I've got someone that will buy this. We hit it off, and I introduced the person. They bought the property. They were then looking for another property, and everything that they were looking at was just over their price bracket. And I had an empty property on the market that had been on with another agent for quite some time. I approached the owner and said, look, I've got a buyer. This is his situation. This is the budget. They like the look of your house, but they won't go and look at it because they feel that the offer that they will be able to give you will be below what you're willing to accept. So I went and spoke to the owner and said, look, do you want them to have a look at it? Is that a level that you can accept? And he said, well, yes, it is. It's not really where I want to be, but it's been on the market a long time, so I'm open to the discussion if they're serious. So we took them round. They loved it. They made an offer, and it was accepted. Exchange happened. Completion day was set, and they were actually moving on the same day that I was moving into my new home. So I'd had my removals all booked. I was doing it myself, as I always do, because I like to make sure it's done properly. And I know if I do it, it's done to the way I want it. So I get a phone call at 5 o'clock the day before completion in the office, and he said, everyone's let me down. My brother, my dad, everyone's sort of not able to come and help me. And it's me, my wife, my newborn baby, and my German Shepherd. And he said, I can't do it all on my own. I don't know what to do. And I went, don't panic. I'll be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I turned up with my van at 7 o'clock in the morning. He had his van. We promptly loaded his house into the vans, did one trip to his new property, emptied that, came back. His buyer arrived with the van. So we're sort of double teaming, taking his stuff into the rest of the stuff into the vans, and then his buyer's stuff into the house. We arrived at his house, and we were moving a double oak wardrobe up a dogleg stairs with a banister at the top.
Good
So
for
we
the
got
back.
it to the banister. I lifted it up. He grabbed it from the top and was pulling it over the banister, and his hand slipped. I was underneath. So this wardrobe has cracked me in the back, 2.5 foot bruise down the side of the back. We got him all moved in. He's a friend now. He said no one has gone the extra mile, let alone beyond that extra mile. And that's what I do for my clients. If they find themselves in a predicament and I'm able to help, why wouldn't I? It's decent humanity. That's who I am as a person.
You will literally take it on your back to help them.
I will. So yeah, we finished
That's
at 10 o'clock that night, from 7 o'clock in the morning. So it was a very long day, lots of aches and pains the next few days afterwards, but
yeah, and
it was well
bruises.
worth it. It got him moved,
No,
saved him failing to complete. So yeah, it was a really good time, actually. One of my
I
favourite
love
times.
that story, Steve. Yeah, well done. It's a great story. We've got a couple more people that are commenting as well. We've got Lou saying welcome to the team and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've got Andy on LinkedIn that's saying good luck.
Thanks, Andy.
So a couple of people commenting as well. It's great story. That actually ties me in nicely to my next question, because 25-year career in a estate agency, first of all, well done and congratulations on that, because not a lot of people stay in the industry for that amount of time, because our industry can be quite tough to stay in and stay consistent. And obviously your personality is very much around the client. And I know one of the slogans that you put on your launch was "Be treated like family."
Yeah.
Which I think is a beautiful kind of tagline. I've not heard that one before, and it's definitely going to be your tagline down on the South Coast. But why have you stayed in agency so long? What do you love about a state agency that's kept you in there for 25 years?
I love property. I love seeing the different visions that people have for the place that they live. Some are some really, really good, some not so good. Some needed a bit of love and attention. Um, but I was thinking about this the other day, in that you were talking about the elderly and the incentives for them to move down the market. I've always prided myself on looking after the more senior population, more so or more attention than your average, in that I'm going an extra mile for them, because I would want people treated as I would expect my mum to be treated, because otherwise that is someone's mum, that's someone's sister, someone's auntie, that you want your family looked after. And in today's world, customer service is so much more at the forefront than it ever has been.
Mm,
Um, with the internet, with the way that people are able to have an opinion and voice it, you have to be so particular in what you do and what you say, because the internet can destroy you. And I'm fully aware of that. And, everything that I'm doing is going to be customer focused. I also, as I said, love property. I mean, I remember going on a lads' weekend to Amsterdam many, many moons ago. And I wanted to go on a cruise so I could look at all the architecture and the buildings. And they're all like, "Steve, you're sad. You're so sad." Um,
We're not in Amsterdam for that.
do you know, it's part of it for me. The character, the history, it's. I love old buildings. I love new buildings. I love everything in between. And it's one thing that I've always held close to me, and I've jumped out a few times to try other things and to learn different sales techniques. Not just I'm a salesman. I want to do a consultative selling with you. I want to work with you to achieve your goals. I'm not there just for the numbers.
Mm,
I'm there to actually help people achieve what they need in life, because as I've grown in life, I've realized actually there are more important things in life than the possessions that we come to own throughout our journey. It's more about the journey than the possessions that we hold. So, yes, whilst that house may be important to someone, their life and the reasons they're doing it are far more important. And that's the area that I like to be a part of, to be involved in, to understand what they're going through, to manage emotions and help them get through what is historically known as one of the three most stressful things you'll go through in life, divorce
yep,
and death being the other two. You know,
yep,
I've had divorce in the last couple of years, so I've been there recently. Still quite raw inside, but the bandages are helping.
yep.
Um, so I understand the emotions that people go through, and I want to make sure that I'm there not just as an agent, but as a confidant, as someone that they can lean on and help through that journey.
It's very appropriate for the brand and for the climate we're in as well. As we go into 2023, economically, we're in a different position to maybe where we were 2 years ago. And what you're talking about there about helping families at all sorts of different age brackets, but helping people onto the dream, to the goal, to the next chapter in their life. Because I think in our industry, sometimes it can be misunderstood that we're there to try and help on a single transaction. And that's normally to sell their home. We're not. We're actually there to try and help them achieve their goal, which is normally to find another home. And to do that, they need to sell their current home. And it's for agents, sometimes it is very departmentalized and transactional. And we forget that
Yeah.
we're there to try and help the whole process. We're not there to just do a segment of it. And what you're talking about there is fantastic. I actually saw an article, and I've just got it up on my phone, and it was let's have a look at what it was. It was an IPSOS survey, and it was done, and it said for each type of group of professionals or businesses, would you tell me if you generally trust them or not? And these were the percentages, and nurses were up there at 89%, engineers and doctors 87, 85% trust factor. Then down the bottom at 12%, politicians, 14% advertising executives, government ministers at 16%, and then fourth bottom is estate agents at 28%,
Yep.
which is sad, isn't it, for our industry? But effectively 72% of people in this survey felt they do not trust estate agents. And that's why we're trying to change it and have an impact in a positive way to bring it back full circle to something that's better for the clients. And
Yeah,
you're
very
going to
much
see that
so.
as well. We've got, I haven't read it, but we've just put here, Dan here, went to Hayling Island as a kid, remember being a great place to go, great, be expanding our family further with having a wealth of experience to help people in superb locations. So they're giving you a bit of a shout out as well, which is cool.
Thank you very much, Dan. Neil?
I want to get to know a little bit more about your passion outside of professions. What do you love to do? You know, what do you do outside of work? Who is Steve Grant from a personality point of view?
The two things that hold really dear to my heart are my football and my fishing. I'd say fishing has overtaken football over the years, because I now feel that the game is falling apart, should I say. The game
Transfer
has got
window day today.
It is. It's the end of the transfer window, but the game's got soft. You look at some of the tackles that used to happen, and they used to get a telling off. Now they're giving them the red card and trying to ruin their career over it. You know, I think it's a lot of overpaid people in a profession that has gone soft. So fishing has taken over. And I'm very.
Have you been doing any ice fishing over the last couple of weeks? Because not many
haven't had
lakes are available to be fished on.
I haven't had time. I've been flat out getting this all as I want it to be and building the foundations of a business. You know, I'm trying to keep reminding myself that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, you know, to be patient. I am hoping to get out on the bank in the next few weeks, but that will be business dependent. This comes first. My business and my fishing will come second. But no, I've done many a night where it's been -5 outside, snow on the ground, frost on the ground. You've woken up, your lines frozen in the rings of the rod. The lake's frozen over overnight. You know, I've been out in all of those conditions. Rain, sun, fog, wind.
It takes some commitment, doesn't it?
It does. And in one of the storms we had last year, my brother had to have a very strong word with me because I was going out fishing in what was going to be 50-mile-an-hour winds. And he was like, Steve, you're going to kill yourself. Some tree's going to come down. You're going to end up dead. He said, just don't do it. And later that week, I heard of a tree coming down at the lake I was going on. So it was very relevant to not actually go. But
let's spin it back into property. So just to summarize for the end of the video, what's your expectations for 2023 for property on the South Coast? Because I would imagine it's had an influx of buyers, you know, buying second homes. I think has probably been quite a popular pull down there. I know a lot of people that have been looking at the South Coast over the last couple of years and taking a second home, a holiday home, whether it's half the year Airbnb or whether they're just keeping it for the family. There was a lot of people that relocated down there as well because of the work from home environment now where they didn't need to be in London. So, you know, with all of that's happened, what's your expectations for this year?
I can still see the market moving, as we've seen so far with the reports of the January market. Properties are still coming on. I think they're going to be very much more price sensitive than they have been in the last 7-8 years. If they come to the market at the right price, then they'll still sell. There are still buyers out there. Banks are competing with each other now to get the mortgage market, bringing their rates down. So they're starting to see more people coming into the market looking to buy because they realise actually the shift has slightly gone to the other side now, where it's more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. Where for the last 7, 8, 9 years, we've seen is a seller's market. buyers tripping over each other to compete to get the property. I don't think those days are gone. I think if the right property comes at the right price, it will receive a lot of interest and it will get multiple offers still. So there's that market there still that you have to put yourself in a very strong position. But I think that there's a lot out there at the moment. As we saw in the last 3-4 weeks, we've seen over 71 price reductions in the PO9 postcode. You know, that's saying to me something, that there's still some stuff out there that came on at the back quarter of last year, and it's still on the market. It hasn't moved in the first few weeks. Something is either wrong with the property, or the process is wrong, or the price is too high. You know, and that's why I'm going to sort of make an effort, is to go out and see these properties that have been on the market for quite some time, have an honest conversation with people. You know, what have you experienced so far? What are you seeing? What are you being told by your agent? What ideas have they got to change things, or the only change to reduce your price? You know, so that's where my focus is going to be over the next few weeks, is getting out and seeing some of these people that have been on the market for quite some time, to see if I can help them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting year. I think, unfortunately, the media love to jump on a negative bandwagon, and I see a lot of the statistics at the moment that are just straight up untrue, actually, which is a shame to see. But I feel, you know, so far this year, we've seen a lot of property come on and sell. It's definitely not what it has been the last 2 years. It goes without saying, it's not anywhere near that level. But I think Zoopla put their report out this week, and they said that buyer demand, as in new buyer registrations and viewing requests, is equal to 2019 and 10% up on average for 2018 at the same time in that year. Whereas if you take an average across the last 5 years, it's down 23%. So if you look at that and think it can't compete with the last couple of years with the stamp duty holiday, this, that, and the other, and 1% interest rates, but it's equal to 2019 and above 2018. And I don't think people really truly believe that that's where it sits, because it's actually not too bad. And in fact, interest rates are now averaging on a 2-year fixed around 4.3, 4.4. And if we went back to the mini budget, they were at 5.9, and the media were reporting in November that for February 2023 and March, we would expect to see them at 6.5%, and they're not. They're at 2%, much lower than that. So I hold hope out for this year, a version of normality, which I think everyone would appreciate. So much in the lines with you as a seller, you can make it your market by pricing correctly. If you make the price correctly, it's your market. You can choose the buyer and you can choose the offer. If you get greedy in this market, you just sit there and it goes stale, unfortunately.
Yes.
Great story, Steve. Love the one about most awkward moment. Obviously, we're going to cut that up and use that and post that, because that's an absolute cracker. What a story. Love your reasons for your client that's now become a friend. That's awesome. The summary of what you're expecting to hear on 2023 and your passions. It's going to be great to see your business unfold over coming weeks. Obviously, we'll be following the journey closely and supporting. And if anyone wants to get in contact with Steve, his email address is right there. And he's happy to come out and do some free valuations for people in the local area. If you're thinking of moving over the next year or so, come and meet his neighbours and his community would be awesome. So yeah, Steve, thanks for joining me on this live. It's great getting to know you, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be on board. You know, our morals align perfectly. So looking forward to a very long journey with you. So
yeah, awesome stuff. Love it.
Excellent.
Right,
and if anyone is looking to sell, give me a call.
Give him a call. It's mirror. So I'll point that way, but I actually mean that way. There we go. Right. Fantastic. Have a good afternoon, everyone.